السلسلة ديال أجي نتعلموا الإنجليزية or let's learn English غنحاول بقدر المستطاع نبسط لكم كيفاش ممكن نتواصلوا في اللغة الإنجليزية. فغنحاولوا ما أمكن نديروا مجموعة ديال الفيديوهات مجموعة ديال الدروس اللي غيعطيونا مثلا كيفاش أننا نقدروا نفهموا البنية ديال اللغة الإنجليزية. So let's get started. So for today's lesson, we're gonna work on how to talk about yourself. في هذا الدرس هذا غنتكلموا كيفاش ممكن أننا نهضروا على نفسنا ونهضروا على راسنا. Right. So how to talk about yourself. We're going to need here many sorts of verbs. غنحتاجوا بزاف ديال الأفعال. Right. So the first verb is to be. أكون. It's verb to be. So to be consists of three words. Is, and or. يعني to be فيه ثلاثة ديال الكلمات is, and or. The second verb is have. Have. أي لدي أملك يملك. Right. Have. I have. Right. And the third verb is can. أستطيع. لدي القدرة. Right. I can do something. Right. I can eat, I can swim, I can speak English, and so on and so forth. And the fourth verb is like. يعجبني. I like. Negative form, يعني نفي ديال I like is I don't like. I don't like. ما كيعجبنيش. وغنتكلموا كذلك على past form of verb to be. الماضي ديال verb to be was. ولكن غنستخدموا مع was born. كنخدموها ملي كنتكلموا على مكان is ديال. I was born in, for example, Rabat. I was born in Casa, for example, Blanca. Right. So the first thing that we're going to focus on is the uses. أول حاجة خصنا نركزوا عليها هما الاستعمالات ديال, for example, had verbs. Right. So we're going to focus on, for example, the uses. So let's start with verb to be. بداو بالverb to be. كيفاش ممكن أو ماذا ممكن نخدموا, for example, verb to be. The first point is, for example, name. Name. يعني غتخدم verb to be with your name, your first name, and your second name. For example, I can say here, my name is, and then you can, for example, give your name. إذا تقول فقط الاسم ديالي هو. إذا هنا كنutilizeو الverb to be. كنخدمو verb, for example, to be. So I can say my name is Jabir, my name is Jabir Muhammad, my name is Fatima, for example, Amrani, and so on and so forth. The second point is age. When we speak about age, هو مثلا العمر. When we say age, العمر, right? So in this case, I can say I am, for example, 21 years old. I am, for example, 21 years old. يعني في الأعمار ديالي عندي مثلا 21. The third point is profession. When we say profession, it means job. يعني كتعني أننا كنتكلموا على المهنة, right? So I can say, for example, I am a student. أنا تلميذ. Or you can say, I am a doctor, I am an engineer, I am a teacher, and so on, so forth. The fourth point is nationality, right? So when we talk about nationality, هي الجنسية. So I can say, for example, my nationality is, for example, Moroccan. So my, for example, nationality is Moroccan. ولا ممكن تقول فقط I am Moroccan. أي أنا مغربي, right? The fifth point is location. Location هو الموقع. Or when you speak about city, أي مدينة, or country, right? So in this case, you can say, for example, I am from Morocco, and I, for example, live in Kenitra, right? هنا عطيت مثلا للدولة وعطيت كذلك المدينة. So you can say in English, for example, I am from Morocco and I live for example, in Indonesia. You can also use, for example, verb to be with hobbies. الهوايات. Then ممكن تخدم verb to be, for example, with hobbies. So in English, you can, for example, say my الهواية المفضلة ديالي. My, for example, favorite hobby is, for example, reading. قراءة. Right. So my favorite, for example, hobby is reading. Right. إذا هذا هما كيفاش ممكن نستعملوا الverb to be. Right. Okay. So let's move on now to the verb have. عندي. I have. So we can use I have. You can use, for example, have with brothers and sisters. إخوة دراري وبنات. يعني خوتك دراري وخوت بنات. Right. So you can say, for example, in English, I have عندي one, for example, brother and two sisters. يعني عندي أخ واحد and two, for example, sisters. جوج ديال البنات خوت. Right. Okay, so let's move on to verb can. I can. أستطيع. عندي القدرة أن ندير شي حاجة, for example. Right. So the verb can be used with languages. Right. Languages هما اللغات. So ممكن نشوف شحال من اللغات اللي كنتكلم. I can say, for example, I can speak. Then ديما the second verb should be put in the infinitive form. I can speak, for example, two languages, right? I can speak, for example, like two languages, right? And semicolon, I can say Arabic and, for example, English, right? So I can speak, I can, for example, swim, I can travel, I can تخدمها مع النافيتي, right? So the verb like يعجبني كتعجبني شي حاجة, for example. So I can say likes يعني الحوايج اللي كيعجبوك, right? You can say in English, I, for example, like football كتعجبك مثلا كرة القدم, ولكن إلا بغينا ننفيو نديرو النفي, which means not. I have to say but, may, ولكن, but I, for example, don't like, for example, swimming. أي سباحة, right? So, and you can say, for example, I, for example, don't like swimming. So, I like football, but I don't like swimming. The origin, ذاك الإزدياد اللي تزدتي فيه مثلا, تحاول تتكلم عليها تقول I was born, يعني خلقت فيه أو تزدت فيه مثلا, right? So, you can say here, I was born, for example, in, let's say, Rabat. So now I'm going to talk about myself. أنا غنتكلم على نفسي. أنا ناخذ واحد الشخصية وغنتكلم على نفسي just by using these verbs. فقط باستعمال ديال هاد verbs, right? Well, my name is Ahmed Jabir. I am 21 years old and I'm a student or I'm a teacher. My nationality is Moroccan and I live in, for example, Kenitra. My favorite hobby is reading. I have one brother and two sisters. I can speak two languages, Arabic and, for example, English. I like football, but I don't like swimming. I was born, for example, in Rabat, or I was born in Rabat. ممكن نزيدها, for example, with verb to be. كنتمنى يكون عجبكم الفيديو. هذه طريقة سهلة جدا باش تتكلم على راسك. إذا عجبكم الفيديو, ديروا subscribe and hit like, and don't forget to hit the ring, the bell. حاول تفعل الجرس باش يوصلكم جميع الفيديوهات الجديدة. Thank you for your attention and see you next time.